People who aren't all that worried about COVID-19, why not? I'm 70 and very healthy. I'm thin and seldom get sick and never get flu. But my number could be up. If there is a huge outbreak, I'll choose to die at home and leave a hospital bed open for a younger person. I have 3 cats who will need homes. I don't think people are thinking about the number of pets who will be displaced. Animal shelters will need a bunch of help. Buy some extra pet food every time you shop and donate it. My concern is on par with influenza. I'm healthy and have good hygiene habits. I don't usually get sick, but with flu and COVID still around, I'm being a little extra cautious. That being said, I should be okay if I get it. I have no health issues, generous sick time at work, and plenty of food and fluids to stay fed and hydrated for a couple weeks if I need to self-quarantine. Growing up in the 2000s has pretty much desensitized me to a lot. Internet access to watching people beheaded and mutilated, and always some bizarre threat on the horizon that will end the world. Drugs, war, Ebola, North Korea, and every time people insist, this is the one you should be worried about. This one is bigger than the last, it's just so tiresome. I am not worried. Personally, I'm not all that worried because I'm going to die eventually no matter what. I suspect we're all going to end up exposed no matter what. I know how to cough or sneeze into my elbow, I know how to wash my hands. I am healthy enough it's unlikely I'll be needing a hospital while it's past full capacity with the Wuhan flu victims. Not so personally, I do think about it because my wife is pneumonia prone. Her parents and mine are all over 80. A serious economic downturn will make everything worse, and non-coronavirus health issues will become more deadly as treatment becomes more difficult to access. Mostly I'm not worried because I will do what I can and the rest is beyond my control. I don't worry about a lot of things that could kill lots of people because I save worrying for things I should be planning to mitigate. Like many commenting here, I'm not worried about my own health. I'm young, healthy, and my company just told us to work fully remote until further notice. That said, I think calling this nothing and just the flu, and nothing to worry about is very naive and ignorant. I am very worried for my parents. My dad is much more vulnerable than I and does not work at such a forward-thinking company that he can be remote. Not to mention the loved ones of countless others who are at much higher risk than I am. Not being worried about my personal health is an extreme privilege I have. I am very worried for the general state of affairs and how it will affect society, politics, the economy, and even just my own social life. If I have to spend a month in this house with little/no trips outside, I will go mad, let alone what other crazy things will ensue. I can only hope that the long-term consequences will be positive ones. Why be worried? It is just another flu with a higher than average contagion rate and a 2% death rate, especially with the elderly and people with underlying problems. I am a healthy 32-year-old adult with no chronic illness. The probability that this is going to kill me, added to the probability that I will catch it, is way lower than the probability that a brick will fall on my head on my way to work today or tomorrow. If I get it, and it gets serious, it will pass like everything does eventually. If I die, shit happens I guess. I didn't get anthrax, SARS, swine flu, bird flu, Ebola, flesh-eating bacteria, or any of the other world-ending plagues I've lived through. The main thing I'm annoyed about is I can't buy pasta, beans, or legumes that I normally buy because of the idiot sheeple who are buying into the media frenzy. At most, it's both a curiosity and an annoyance for me. Nothing more. I will probably get it. I work as a cashier in a popular store. My friends and boyfriend all work with customers. I will get it some way or another. I will also probably be one of those critical cases. I always get the worst ends of sicknesses. I have a shit immune system and just started treating an autoimmune disorder. I may even die. The odds are against me. Still, if I die, I die. I can do absolutely nothing to stop it. I have way too many things to worry about that I can actually change and have control over. Why worry about something that I have no control over? Mostly, I know that it's just the media over-sensationalizing it. In reality, COVID-19 is a more contagious version of the flu. Med-Reds, correct me here, but the media is portraying it like it's a world-devastating event because of the rapid spread and its relation to SARS. As long as you take all of the precautions recommended by doctors and use a little common sense, you should be safe. It's most dangerous for older and younger people. My health is good right now. Mortality isn't high. Majority already recovered. I have 17 cases in my country. Panic always causes more harm than good. In Fukushima, because of a tsunami, a whole single person died, but panicking people added additional 5,000 to the death toll. It would be literally better if everyone just ignored nuclear reactor falling apart. Less would have died. Several reasons. The flu kills way more people each year. The biggest concern is our ignorance, and the more info that comes out, the less reason I have to be concerned. The most vulnerable to it are those with already compromised immune systems. So older people, already sick, etc. So worst case scenario, I'll likely be fine. I'm washing my hands proactively. That's really the most effective defense. I'm more concerned about being a carrier than getting hurt. If I find out I've been exposed, I'll take it seriously. But otherwise, I don't see issues. I spent all of fall scared of E, a deadly mosquito virus that was active in New England. E has a 33% mortality rate and survivors can have serious brain damage. As it is a mosquito-borne illness, it does not discriminate due to age or health. This fall I was working outside during the evening and night in an area that was labeled moderate risk and which wasn't far from standing water. I am a relatively healthy college-aged individual. Coronavirus makes me sad and concerned for other people but not for myself. I spent all fall fearing for my life. Now I'm just sad many people will die. And okay, I'm moderately worried about catching it and having to spend a long time in quarantine and the possibility of not having a job this summer because I work in live entertainment. I should first clarify that I'm not afraid of COVID-19, but I am certainly not keen on the reactions the general public are having. The new people who've moved into my area are super coddled rich folks who genuinely thought the apocalypse was happening when a windstorm knocked out local power for 18 hours. They are reacting predictably well to this. In all honesty, when it comes to diseases, I'm not really all that afraid. My ancestors have survived the Spanish flu, every instance of the bubonic plague, and likely a number of other plagues/illnesses. Sure, I could be the first in the line to die, but it's also not like I could do much about it. I live in the country, I rarely leave the house, I regularly disinfect surfaces in the house and I wash my hands religiously. At this point, if I die, I die. If I live, I live. Either way, it's not changing my plans in any way whatsoever. I am not worried because I have no reason to be worried. I live in a first world country with a competent and reactive healthcare system. There have been 3,000 deaths out of 100,000 confirmed infected, most of which were in China, a country that does not shine with its healthcare, and has a tremendous demography to which no Occidental society can compare. The persons at risks are already in a state that makes them at risks from a lot of stuff. COVID might have been their last straw, but if not this virus, it could very well have been something else. Almost every government takes it seriously and takes the appropriate measures against it. Overall, it should be clear by now that COVID will not be a health crisis. But it will have terrible economic consequences, which we are already starting to witness, with the stick markets for instance. The coronavirus isn't really as deadly as shown in the media and there has been over 64,000 recoveries. Looking at statistics, it's quite clear that many people have recovered from the virus, and very few people are actually in a serious condition. Death is pretty rare from the coronavirus and only 6% of closed cases actually resulted in death. That's about 4,000 dead of 68,000 closed cases. So while it is spreading, it's not as lethal as the media shows it to be. People have been exaggerating a lot, and I know some people have been misinformed, so I'll say this as clear as I can. The concern over COVID-19 is due to its capacity of transmission. I live in Spain and coronavirus has already started here. Regardless of that, I live my own life because I did some research and I know this illness is not that dangerous to me. COVID-19 is not worse than a simple flu. Still, it's not really a subject to joke about and we need to be cautious since, just like flu does, it can kill old people with weak immune system or cardiovascular problems. Because it's just another flu. Yes, it has a slightly higher mortality rate than most strains, but that's also because so far most cases have been either in A. China, where people's lungs are already clogged and strained by air pollution you could cut with a knife. B. Iran, an underdeveloped hellhole with subpar medical care and a backwards, superstitious population who respond to a viral outbreak by going to a shrine to all lick the communal licking wall. To a healthy adult in the Western world with modern hygiene standards, it poses basically no real threat. I'm living in the SoCal area, so it hasn't exactly been a huge concern yet. Although there were 3 cases reported in Long Beach just last night, I am hoping this will give my employer adequate reason to allow working from home now. Anyways, I'm not too concerned because I feel like most of the hysteria to COVID-19 has been primarily media-driven. There are less cases and deaths than the yearly flu, but people are freaking out of COVID-19 because it's unknown to everyone, despite coronavirus being around for a while now. Honestly, Just wash your hands, take vitamins, and you're already better off than just worrying about it and stressing yourself out. To be honest, I'm more worried about my honeymoon to Europe getting cancelled or pushed back next month because of it all. For reference, I'll be going to Paris and Rome, although Rome is looking more and more unlikely. I'm a healthy individual. A little overweight, but that's it. I'm not concerned about my own health, I'm concerned about transmitting it to someone who's not as healthy, like my grandma. She's been fighting cancer since October and was hospitalized about a week and a half ago with mycoplasma pneumonia. She definitely can't afford to catch COVID-19. Up until yesterday, even transferring it to someone else wasn't very high on my list of concerns. And then they announced that there are 3 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Iowa City, which is kinda scary with all the vulnerable patients at the university hospitals there. God forbid the hospital staff catches it, which is only an hour away from me. I'm more irritated about it than worried. It's caused me so much inconvenience for basic things I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Everywhere I fucking go now, I'm constantly reminded about it as there is some kind of written post about it, not online, but literally my bank sent out an email saying every bank station will have hand sanitizer. If I get it, I feel like I'd be fine. My only worry is that I will not be coming home because my mom has a compromised immune system and she is worried. Yes, it's a big deal because it's been outsourced from an animal to humans and we have no vaccine for it, but literally I compare it to the swine flu scare, and while I do remember people worrying about that, the actual fear people had back then did not seem as frantic as people worrying about this now.